I thought we should do something in a structured way and start something so that we can have continuity. I was just thinking that we will start with the 9th canto. This is the Purushottam Mass, and in the 9th canto, there is the seed of the 10th canto, because Maharaj Parikshit, towards the end of the 9th canto, inquires, and Shukdev Goswami begins to speak about Leela Purushottam Krishna. So there are, this is the Purushottam Mass, and there are 3 Purushottams. According to our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, there are 3 Purushottams. Maryada Purushottam is Lord Ramachandra, Dasharathi Ram, Ayodhyapati Ram, and his divine Leela is also mentioned in the 9th canto. After Maryada Purushottam Shri Ram, there is Leela Purushottam Shri Krishna, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. And his story, his Leela begins in the end of 9th canto, and in detail it is described in the 10th canto. He is Leela Purushottam, Lord Krishna. And then, according to Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, there is Prem Purushottam, and that is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who gives us Prem. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prem Pradayate. Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratu Se Namaha. So Prem Purushottam is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in this way, we have Maryada Purushottam, who teaches us by example how we should behave. Leela Purushottam, who attracts us. Sarva Akarshitahi iti Krishna. Krishna is one who attracts everyone. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Prem Purushottam, who teaches us how to get Krishna. What is the process of getting Krishna? So when Krishnanam Prabhu had come to America in 2012, Krishnanam Prabhu had given me a very important and valuable instruction. Krishnanam Prabhu had told me that there is a very great Mahabhagavat, whose lectures, whose books, whose teachings I should study. And that is His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj. And Krishnanam Prabhu said that he personally knew Maharaj, and he is friends with some of his very intimate disciples. And having lived with them, having associated, Krishnanam Prabhu said that it is my desire that you should study the teachings of His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj from Rajkot. There are 2 Mahavishnu Maharajas in our movement. There is Srila Prabhupada disciple, His Holiness Mahavishnu Maharaj, who is a very great book distributor and very great Namnisht Mahabhagavat also. Namnisht. That is His Holiness Mahavishnu Maharaj, who appeared in the Western world. And there are many videos on YouTube how he is distributing Srila Prabhupada's books and distributing the holy name. Very empowered. Namnisht, pure devotee. His Holiness Mahavishnu Swami Maharaj. And then there is His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj from Rajkot, who joined in the late 1970s when Srila Prabhupada had wound up the earthly pastimes. And his life was very exemplary. He had the perfect brahmachari life, perfect grihastha life, vanaprastha, and ultimately sannyas also. And he lived for a very advanced age. I think he was in his 90s when he left his body in Bhaktivedanta hospital. So that is the Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj that Krishnanam Prabhu was talking about. And after that, I read some books, heard some classes, and heard about Srila Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, and I felt greatly inspired. And one of the teachings of His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj is when he was asked, how can we get Krishna Prem? Because Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita describes Prem Prayojan. The ultimate perfection of life is to get Prem. Prema Pumarto Mahan. Ultimate attainment for a human being is Krishna Prem. And how do we get that Krishna Prem? When Mahavishnu Maharaj was asked, how do we get that Krishna Prem? Srila Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj replied 2 things. If we do these 2 things, we will get Krishna Prem. And I have heard this exact same thing also from Srila Radha Govinda Das Goswami Maharaj, another Ratna of our ISKCON. Srila Radha Govindas Goswami Maharaj, Vrindavan. Maharaj also says the same thing. If we do two things in this lifetime, we will all get Krishna Prem. Who wants Krishna Prem? Hari Bol. So then we should pay attention to these two things. Srila Radha Govindas Goswami Maharaj and Srila Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj say that in this lifetime we can get Krishna Prem if we do these two things. Number one, taking shelter of the 32 syllable 16 name Hare Krishna Mahamantra as it is mentioned in Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur's Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This Hare Krishna Mahamantra that we have received from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through Srila Prabhupada, this Mahamantra we have to chant on our japa beads in japa, and in the association of devotees, we have to loudly sing it in Kirtan, Sankirtan. This Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Japa and Kirtan, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, number one. And number two, simply by reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Just by reading Srimad Bhagavatam that Srila Prabhupada has given us so painstakingly. If we read and discuss Srimad Bhagavatam with devotees and we take shelter and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra both in Japa and in Nam Sankirtan, in this lifetime, we will get Krishna Prem. Every verse of Srimad Bhagavatam is soaked in Krishna Prem. Bhagavatam is waiting to give us Krishna Prem. All we have to do is systematically study Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are doing Bhakti Vaibhav, first 6 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. 7th canto we recently read, and in the morning we read after chanting for 15-20 minutes. And now we are doing the 8th canto. So I thought we'll start with the 9th canto today. So we'll just start with 9th canto, first chapter, and we'll try to summarize the whole first chapter in less than 1 hour. Is that okay? And this is Srimad Bhagavatam. It will purify our heart. So I'm going to share my screen. You can see, and we can all recite the verses together. All these verses will give us Krishna Prem. This is the beginning of 9th canto and chapter 1. This chapter is entitled King Sudumna Becomes a Woman. There are many, many valuable lessons, and I would request you all to please note down some good points that you like from this chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, and in the end you can share. Okay? So we'll start with text 1. We can all read together. Shri Rajo Vacha Manvantarani Sarvani Tvayoktani Shrutani Me Viryanananta Viryasya Harestatra Kritani Cha. King Parikshit said, all the translations, all the purports are given to us by our revered founder Acharya Nitya Lila Pravishtha Om Vishnupad Shri Srimad Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. King Parikshit said, my Lord Shri Shukdev Goswami Ji, you have elaborately described all the periods of the various Manus, and within those periods, the wonderful activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Viryani Ananta Viryasya Hare. Lord Hari's wonderful activities you have described in different Manvantars. And how is Krishna? He is Viryani Ananta. He has unlimited potency. And I am fortunate to have heard all this from you. See, Tvayoktani means you spoke, and Me Shrutani, I heard. You spoke and I heard. All this wonderful katha. See, one of the 10 topics of Srimad Bhagavatam is Manvantar, the description of different Manvantars. Atra Sarga Visargascha Sthanam Poshanam Utayaha Manvantare Shanu Katha Nirodho Muktir Ashraya. So Manvantar Katha, Ishanu Katha, the descriptions of different Manus and the different avatars of Krishna that take place. That description is one of the 10 topics of Srimad Bhagavatam. So you have described very nicely the different Manvantars, starting from Swayambhuva Manu. Remember, everyone remembers? 3rd and 4th canto, there is description of Swayambhuva Manu, his children, Uttanapad and Priyavrat and Dhruv Maharaj. All those things are there. So you have discussed after that in Gajendra Moksha and everything, you have discussed all the different Manus. The 6 Manus have been discussed. And I have heard from you. Text 2 and 3. Yosau Satyavrato Nama Rajarshir Dravideshwaraha Jnanam Yotita Kalpante Lebhe Purusha Sevaya Savai Vivasvata Putro Manur Asid Iti Shrutam. Tvatastasya sutah prokta ikshvaku pramukha nripaha. Shri Satyavrat Maharaj, the saintly king of Dravida Desh, who received spiritual knowledge at the end of the last millennium, at the end of the sixth Manu, by the grace of the Supreme. Who is this grace of Supreme who gave knowledge to Satyavrat Maharaj? It was Matsya Avatar. Remember? Matsya Avatar. That Satyavrat Maharaj will become Vaivasvat Manu. He is Vaivasvat Manu now in this. We are in the 7th Manu, Vaivasvat Manu, right now. So this Satyavrat Maharaj, who was the king of Dravida Desh, received spiritual knowledge at the end of the previous millennium. Maharaj Parikshit is saying this. From the Supreme Lord, who? Matsya Avatar. He later became Vaivasvat Manu, the son of Vivaswan. The Surya Dev right now, the sun god, is Vivaswan. And Vivaswan's son is Vaivasvat. Like Janak Maharaj's daughter is Janaki. So Vivaswan's son is Vaivasvat, and he's the Manu. So Vaivasvat Manu, the current Manu. In the next Manvantar, the period of Manu, he became. Satyavrat Maharaj, who got knowledge from Matsya Dev, became the current Manu, Vaivasvat Manu. I have received this knowledge from you. I also understand why he's saying I have received this knowledge from you, because the previous canto ended with Matsya Avatar chapter. The last chapter is the Matsya Avatar. I also understand that such kings as Maharaj Ikshvaku were the sons of Vaivasvat Manu, as you have already explained. So Maharaj Parikshit is summarizing what he has heard from Shukdev Goswami, and this is a sign of a good student. A good student always hears attentively and gives a feedback to the Guru. So Guru knows that, okay, he's understanding, he's listening, he's assimilating. So Parikshit Maharaj continues, O greatly fortunate Shukdev Goswami, Tesham Vamsham Prithak Brahman Vamshanu Charitani Cha Kirta Yasva Mahabhaga Nityam Shushrushatam Hinaha. O greatly fortunate Shukdev Goswami, O great Brahman, Mahabhaga, he's addressing as Mahabhag, O greatly fortunate, kindly describe to us separately the dynasties and characteristics of those kings, for we are always eager to hear such topics from you. He wants to hear about Vaivasvat Manu and his dynasty. And very important word here is Naha. Naha means we, us. We are interested in hearing about Vaivasvat Manu's dynasty. To encourage Shri Shukdev Goswami that it's not that just I am listening. All these thousands of rishis and sadhus who have assembled here last 7 days of my life to hear from you, they are also eager. Not just me, they are also eager. So that will encourage the speaker even more. Text 5. Ye bhuta ye bhavishyascha bhavant adhya tanascha ye tesham nah punya kirti nam sarvesham vada vikraman. Kindly tell us about the abilities of all the celebrated kings born in the dynasty of Vaivasvat Manu, including those who have already passed, those who will appear in the future, and those who are present at this moment. So past, present, and future, all the kings in the dynasty of Vaivasvat Manu, 5,000 years ago, Shukdev Goswami is being requested by Maharaj Parikshit. So 5,000 years ago, he is requesting, which means the dynasty of Vaivasvat Manu that has happened before 5,000 years ago, that are existing now, and that will happen in the future. I want to know everything. So our acharyas explain why Maharaj Parikshit is so interested in Vaivasvat Manu. And the reason is, in the line of Vaivasvat Manu, both the great incarnations are going to appear. In the line of Maharaj Ikshvaku, Lord Ramachandra will appear, and in the line of Pururava, Lord Krishna will appear. So by requesting Shukdev Goswami, now that you have described the previous 6 Manus, now tell me about the 7th Manu, Vaivasvat Manu, and I want to know everything in detail. Maharaj Parikshit knew that when I ask this, then there will be description of Lord Ram, and later on there will be description of Lord Krishna. So that was the inner meaning of Maharaj Parikshit asking with such eagerness about Vaivasvat Manu's dynasty. Text 6. Shri Suta Uvacha. Now remember, this conversation between Maharaj Parikshit and Shukdev Goswami is being narrated to Shaunak Adi Rishis in Naimisharanya by Shri Suta Goswami. Now, in the previous verse, Shri Parikshit Maharaj told Srila Shukdev Goswami that we are interested to hear. He used the word we. So, the proof is that everybody is eager to hear. The proof is, in that assembly, when Maharaj Parikshit was listening, there was one devotee. There were many devotees who were listening eagerly. And there is one devotee who heard it and verbatim came and repeated it in Naimisharanya, and that is Suta Goswami. So see, here it is said Shri Suta Uvacha. Suta Goswami is telling all this, which means he heard very eagerly, along with Parikshit Maharaj. So what we can learn here, very important Siddhanta, my dear friends, whenever Guru Maharaj is speaking, whenever the sadhu is speaking Hari Katha, and we are listening, we should think that Guru Maharaj is speaking to me, and all of the devotees are also listening. But Guru Maharaj is speaking to me, we should take it personally. And when someone else is asking a question and Guru Maharaj is answering, again we should think that this is for me. I am being told. If we are simply sitting, oh, okay, this fellow has a question, okay, let his question get solved. I am waiting for prasadam. No, that is not the right attitude. Whenever anyone asks question and Guru Maharaj is speaking, Guru Mukha Padmavakya Chittete Koriya Aike, Arana Kariho Mane Asha. Every word that emanates from the lotus mouth of Shri Guru is meant for our betterment, our upliftment, our spiritual welfare, and we should internalize it. So you see Suta Goswami, he was not being told by Shukdev Goswami. He was just sitting there, but he heard with such rapt attention that he could come and repeat it to those 88,000 rishis in Naimisharanya. As it is, he was able to repeat. This is how we should hear. Ugra Shrava. Maharaj Parikshit is described in Bhagavatam as Ugra Shrava, who was listening with great attention. Shri Suta Uvacha. Evam Parikshita Radnya Sadasi Brahmavadinam Prishtha Pravovacha Bhagavan Shukaha Paramadharmavit. How is Shukdev Goswami? He is Param Dharmavit. Shri Suta Goswami says, when Shukdev Goswami, who is the Param Dharmavit, he is the greatest knower of religious principles, he knows the religious principles, was thus requested by Maharaj Parikshit. In which assembly? In the assembly of all the scholars who were also learned, Brahmavadinam. They were also learned in Vedic knowledge. Then Shukdev Goswami proceeded to speak. So Suta Goswami is giving us a scenario. Here is a Param Mahabhagavat who had darshan of Krishna in the womb of his mother Maharaj Parikshit. He is asking Brahmavit, Dharmavit, Param Dharmavit, Shukdev Goswami a question in the assembly of Sadasi Brahmavadinam, in the assembly of other great knowledgeable sadhus, which means this conversation is very high class. The questioner is very high class, the speaker is very high class in an assembly of very evolved spiritualists, which means we should hear very attentively. This is very high class philosophy. So Suta Goswami is saying, then Shukdev Goswami proceeded to speak. Now Shukdev Goswami Maharaj is speaking. Shri Shuka Uvacha Shruyata Manavo Vamsha Prachuryena Parantapa Na Shakyate Vistarato Vaktum Varsha Shatair Api. Shri Shukdev Goswami is saying, hey Maharaj Parikshit, Parantapa, subduer of enemies. Paranta means those who are enemies. There are our people and there are those on the opposite camp, enemies. And tapa means to give them tap, to punish them. So Parantapa means one who is able to subdue the enemies. Here Shukdev Goswami is addressing Maharaj Parikshit as Parantapa because, please, this is very important, please listen carefully. Shukdev Goswami is addressing Maharaj Parikshit as Parantapa for a very important reason. Here Parantapa means one who has subdued the enemy. And who is the enemy? What are the 6 enemies? Shada Ripu. Ripu means enemy. Shada Ripu. The 6 enemies are lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, false ego. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, Mad, Matsarya. These are the enemies. And Maharaj Parikshit has conquered them. And what is the proof? Our acharyas explain what is the proof that Maharaj Parikshit is Parantapa. The proof is that Maharaj Parikshit is asking these questions. Hey Shukdev Goswami, you have described 6 Manus and I have heard it from you. Thank you so much. It was nectar. Now please tell me about the 7th Manu, Maharaj, the Vaivasvat Manu. I want to hear about him. The fact that Maharaj Parikshit is asking these questions and he's eager to hear Harikatha proves that he has conquered lust, anger, greed, laziness, complacency, envy, pride, false ego. And our acharyas say that when in a class we think, Re baap, kab khatam hoga class, kab prasad milega, the speaker is speaking so long, it was supposed to be 1 hour, now it is 3 hours, he's still speaking. When we think like this, that means we are overcome by anarthas. And when Harikatha is going on, Bhagavatam is being spoken, and we are listening with rapt attention, then we should know that we are making spiritual advancement. We are conquering the enemies, Parantapa. This is the sign. Srila Shrivas Thakur, he was in the assembly of Devananda Pandit. Devananda Pandit, who had no devotion at that time, he was speaking Bhagavatam, and everybody was sitting and hearing the dry recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, dry explanation of Srimad Bhagavatam, without any bhakti, no tinge of bhakti also. Everybody, all the students were sitting dry. And when Srila Shrivas Thakur came there, and that same Bhagavatam he heard, because he had such love in his heart for Bhagavatam, for Krishna, when he heard that, he experienced ecstasy. He started manifesting all the Ashtasattvic Vikar, all the symptoms of ecstasy, like tears flowing from his eyes, his voice choking up, hair standing on end, body trembling. Why? Because he had love for Bhagavatam. He had love for Krishna. So when we have love for Harikatha, we want to hear Bhagavatam class. We want to hear Harikatha. We want to chant. That means we are becoming Parantapa. And if we are getting distracted, we are thinking of other things, we want to get up and leave, that means we are not Parantapa. And this was a quality that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada noticed in our Prabhupada. In Prabhupada Lilamrita it is mentioned that when Prabhupada's name was recommended for initiation in Allahabad, what did Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur say? Yes, 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 I will initiate him. And Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada gave first and second initiation together to our Prabhupada. Because he said, he likes to hear Harikatha. He doesn't go away. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur had noticed that in our Prabhupada. So this is very important quality. And so Shukdev Goswami is addressing Parikshit Maharaj as Parantapa, one who has conquered the enemies of laziness, lethargy, and has taste for hearing. O King Parikshit, O subduer of enemies, now hear from me in great detail about the dynasty of Vaivasvat Manu, the current Manu, 7th Manu. I shall explain as much as possible, although one could not say everything about it. Even Vaktum Varsha Shatairapi. Even if one tried for hundreds of years, Varsha Shatair, still one cannot. Na Shakyate Vaktum. One cannot describe everything Vistarato in detail, because there are so many kings who came in this dynasty. All of them were great devotees. How much can I talk? But I will tell you as much as possible. Now, please, we have to understand this, that we say that, oh, that devotee, that Prabhuji, Mataji, they had a child. A child, such a nice child. He's 3 years old and he's playing Mridanga. Or he's 4 years old and he knows the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We say like this, no? We glorify children. Now imagine if our children can have such good samskar from previous birth and they are naturally taking to Krishna consciousness. Our children. Imagine what must be the quality of these devotees who are coming in the Vamsha, in the dynasty of Vaivasvat Manu. Because in this dynasty, Lord Ram and Lord Krishna are going to appear. How great is it? So we should understand these kings, these personalities that we are reading about in Srimad Bhagavatam, like Maharaj Sudyumna, they are very great personalities, far more superior to the people of this age. And therefore we should hear about their characteristics very carefully. Text 8. Paravaresham bhutanam atmaya purusha paraha sa eva sid idam vishvam kalpantenyan na kinchana. The transcendental supreme person, the super soul of all living entities, Paravaresham Bhutana, who's in everyone's heart, who are in different statuses of life, but Krishna is there in everyone's heart, whether it's an ant or Brahma, high and low, existed at the end of the millennium, when neither this manifested cosmos nor anything else but him existed. So Shukdev Goswami is being asked by Parikshit Maharaj, tell me about the dynasty of Vaivasvat Manu. But Shukdev Goswami doesn't start with Vaivasvat Manu. He starts with Krishna, the Parameshwar. So he's going to start with Krishna. Krishna is a supreme Lord. He existed before this creation. He is the original person. When nothing existed, it was only Krishna. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Taking the proper position from which to describe the dynasty of Vaivasvat Manu, Shri Shukdev Goswami begins by saying that when the entire world is inundated, only the Supreme Personality of God exists and nothing else. Shukdev Goswami will now describe how the Lord creates other things, one after another. So the point is, Shukdev Goswami could have started describing from the time of Vaivasvat Manu. But Shukdev Goswami doesn't do that. He starts from Krishna. Krishna's son was Brahma. Brahma's son was Marichi, like that. To teach us a lesson that whenever we have to speak, we should always see the connection with Krishna. Text 9. Tasya nabhe samabhavat padmakosho hiranmaya tasmin jadne maharaja swayambhus chaturanana. Chaturanana means Chaturmukh, Brahmaji. O King Parikshit, Sri Shukdev Goswami is saying, from the navel, Tasya Nabhe. Tasya means who? Lord Vishnu, who was described in the previous verse. From Lord Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu's nab, his nabhi, his navel, Tasya Nabhe, Samabhavat, appeared Padma Kosho Hiranmaya. A golden, Hiranmaya means golden, Padma Kosha, a golden lotus sprouted. And on that, Tasmin Jadne Maharaja, O King Parikshit, on that lotus, Swayambhu Chaturanana. Brahmaji took birth on that lotus. So, O Parikshit, from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu was generated a golden lotus on which the four-faced Lord Brahma took his birth. So the whole parampara is being described. Text 10. Marichir manasastasya jadne tasyapi kashyapah dakshayanyam tato adityam vivasvan abhavat sutah. From the mind of Lord Brahma, Marichi took birth, one of the Prajapatis. And from Marichi, Kashyap Muni appeared. And from Kashyap Muni, along with the daughter of Daksha Prajapati, that is Aditi, from Kashyap and Aditi, who took birth? Vivasvan. So Vivasvan is one of the 12 Adityas. The 12th Aditya is Lord Vamanadev. Correct? The sons of Aditi. The 12th Aditya is Vamanadev. Indra is one of them. And the first one is Vivasvan. So Vivasvan, Suryadev, took birth as Aditya, as a son of Aditi, who is the daughter of Daksha Maharaj. And the father was Kashyap. Kashyap Aditi gave birth to Vivasvan, sun god. Text 11 and 12. Tato manu shraddha devaha samnyayam asa bharata shraddhayam janayam asa dasha putran sa atmavan ikshvaku nriga sharyati dishta dhrishta karushakan narishyantam prasiddham cha nabhagam cha kavim vibhuhu. O king, best of the descendants of Bharat Maharaj. In other words, hey Parikshit, from Vivasvan, by the womb of Samagnya, so Vivasvan and his wife Samagnya gave birth to Shraddha Dev Manu. That is another name for Vaivasvat Manu, was born. Shraddha Dev Manu or Vaivasvat Manu, who was Atmavan. He had conquered his senses. See the word Atmavan is used here. Atmavan means he was Jitendriya. He had conquered his senses. So this Shraddha Dev Manu or Vaivasvat Manu, having conquered his senses, begot 10 sons in the womb of his wife, Shraddha. The names of these sons were as follows: Ikshvaku, Nriga, Sharyati, Dishta, Dhrishta, Karushaka, Narishanta, Prasiddha, Nabhaga, and Kavi. Just by taking the names of these devotees, my dear friends, this is called Bhakta Namavali. By taking the names of these devotees, we make spiritual advancement. Our heart becomes purified. There is so much power. Yeme bhakta jana partha, name bhakta te jana. Mad bhakta nam chaye bhakta te me bhaktottam mata. There is great power in chanting the names of these devotees. Ikshvaku, Nriga, Sharyati, like that. So, therefore, Shukdev Goswami is taking these names. Once our Guru Maharaj, Param Pujya Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj, was asked this question. I have personally heard this with my own ears. Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj was asked, Srimad Bhagavatam is Amala Puranam. It is the Sarva Vedanta Sarami Shri Bhagavatam Ishyate. It is the rasa, essence of all the Vedic literature. Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phalam is Srimad Bhagavatam. Then why in Srimad Bhagavatam there are verses after verses, there are sometimes chapters after chapters, just description of Vamsha. In this dynasty, this came, from him this came, from him that came, from him that came, from him this person came, then this person came. And the chapter ends. What is the use of such chapters? There is no Leela, there is no Tattva, nothing. Good point. Parikshit Maharaj had limited time. In that chapter, something else could have been described. Some more details about Radharani could have been told. Why? All this just different description of Vanshas is given. Dynasties are described. Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj immediately replied. He said, there are many reasons why this is described. Number one, when all these detailed dynasties describe this person, his son was this, his son was this, his son was this, his son was this. And then the person who is supposed to be described comes, and then there is elaboration. It gives tremendous authenticity to Srimad Bhagavatam as a scripture. It's not like somebody is sitting under a tree and just telling some stories. Srimad Bhagavatam is a science, it's a scientific book. And therefore, the genealogy is mentioned. It gives authenticity, number one. Number two, Maharaj said, these devotees who are mentioned, they are great devotees. Even Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took pleasure in chanting the names of devotees. It is described in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata and Chaitanya Charitamrita, Mahaprabhu sitting, chanting Gopi, Gopi, Radha, Radha, isn't it? And the foolish students could not understand and they criticized Mahaprabhu. But Mahaprabhu takes joy in taking the names of his devotees. Mahaprabhu takes joy in glorifying his devotees like anything. In fact, on YouTube, you can look, there's a class that Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj gave. Lord Chaitanya gives credit to his devotees. You can type it. It's on YouTube. Lord Chaitanya gives credit to his devotees. Mahaprabhu is simply glorifying all the devotees. Rasa Tattva, I don't know anything. Whatever Rasa Tattva I know, I have heard it from Ramananda Rai. He's my guru. Oh, Vrindavan. I don't know anything about Vrindavan. I only was there for less than 2 months. Baba, I don't know anything about Vrindavan. But the glories of Vrindavan that I know, I have heard from Swarup Damodar Goswami. Mahaprabhu is giving credit to everybody like this. So, Naam Mahima, I don't know any Naam Mahima. Whatever glories of holy name I have heard, I have learned from Haridas Thakur. Like that, he's giving credit to everybody. So, Krishna likes to take the names of his devotees. Therefore, these names are there because these are not ordinary people. These dynasties that are described, these are all great devotees, all pure devotees. That is thing. And Maharaj said, thirdly, this Vamsha description, this dynasty description, genealogy is there in Srimad Bhagavatam so that you and I, we understand how flickering this material life is. At the end of the day, all that will remain is just some names in a family tree. Where are all these kings now? They are gone. Maharaj said, when we read this genealogy descriptions in Srimad Bhagavatam, it should make us sober. It should make us humble. That I am taking myself so seriously. That devotee did not offer dandavat to me. He did not return my haribol. We take ourselves so seriously. What is going to remain? Just a name is going to remain. And that also great devotee's name. Our name will not even be there. So we are so insignificant. All these dynasties, powerful dynasties, they ruled the earth, they ruled the material universe, and they are all finished. All these dynasties are gone now. Similarly, we will also be finished. So reading this genealogy, we should become humble and serious. So that was very nice. So like that, this verse describes that from Lord Vishnu came Lord Brahma, from Brahmaji came Marichi, from Marichi came Kashyap, from Kashyap came Vivaswan, from Vivaswan and his wife Samagna came Shraddha Dev Manu, that is Vaivasvat Manu. And Vaivasvat Manu's wife was Shraddha. Vaivasvat Manu's wife was Shraddha, and they gave rise to 10 sons, and their names are there, Ikshvaku Ityadi. 13. Aprajasya mano purvam Vashishto Bhagavan kila Mitra Varunayor Ishtim Prajartham Akarod Vibhuhu. Manu at first had no sons. And we see this as a recurrent theme. Even Vasudev, Devaki were not having children. Even Shachimata and Jagannath Mishra were not having children. Again and again we see this. Even Rajni and Gaur Mohande were having trouble, and so many children were also dying. So finally they had Srila Prabhupada, and Mother Rajni took a vow that I will eat with my left hand until my son becomes healthy and grown up. And then he asks me, why, Mother, you are eating with the left hand? So we see, anytime a great soul is to take birth, there is always difficulty. Krishna tests. Even Srinivas Acharya's parents, Chaitanya and his mother, they were both not having any child, and they were praying so much. So like that. Manu also had no son. Therefore, in order to get a son, the great saint Vashishta, who was very powerful in spiritual knowledge, Vashishto Bhagavan Kila, he's addressed as Bhagavan, he performed a sacrifice for what? Mitra Varunayor Ishtim, to satisfy the two demigod brothers, Mitra and Varuna. So Manu had no sons, and therefore he went to his guru, Vashishta Muni. This is a Siddhanta that we should learn, that when we are having difficulty, we should seek guidance from our Gurudev. We should seek guidance from our Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru. We should not take guidance from someone who is not spiritually advanced. Otherwise, what good advice we will get? So Manu Maharaj had difficulty. He had no son, but it was the duty of Manu Maharaj, Vaivasvat Manu, to produce children, because somebody has to be there to rule this whole universe. So he went to his Gurudev Vashishta Muni. Vashishta Muni performed a sacrifice to satisfy the two demigods, Mitra and Varun. Then what happened? Tatra Shraddha Mano Patni Hotaram Samayachata Duhitrartham Upagamya Pranipatya Payovrata. During the sacrifice that was being performed by on the guidance of Vashishta Muni to get a son for Maharaj Manu, Manu's wife Shraddha, mother Shraddha Mata, she was observing Payovrat. She was observing a vow of only drinking milk. She approached the head pujari, the head priest, Purohit, and requested him for a daughter. Duhitrartham. She asked Duhitra, I want a daughter. See, Duhitra and daughter, they are similar. So many words in English also are derived from Sanskrit. Matra Swashra Duhitrava, that verse is there. So Matra is similar to mother, Duhitra daughter, and Swashra sister. That verse is then Na Vivaktasano Bhavet. We should not sit very close even to our mother, sister, and daughter. Balavan Indira Gramo, Vidvamsam api Karshati. Even a Vidwan person can fall down because of lust. So here the word Duhitra is used. Duhitra means the daughter. Instead of having a son, Shraddha said to the head priest that, you know what, I want a daughter, not a son. Manu Maharaj was doing this so that his wife will get a son for him. But she changed the request. She said, I want a daughter. So what we can learn here, that even among great devotees like Vaivasvat Manu and Shraddha Mata, there can be difference of opinion. Husband and wife can have difference of opinion. Here Manu Maharaj wants a son, and his wife, Shraddha Devi, she wants a daughter. And she told the priest also that I want a daughter. Text 15. Preshito Dhvaryuna hota vyacharatta samahitaha grihite havishi vacha vashatkaram grihnam dvijaha. Told by the chief priest, now offer oblations. The person in charge of oblations took clarified butter, ghee to offer, and then remembered the request of Shraddha Mata, the wife of Vaivasvat Manu, and performed a sacrifice while chanting the word Vashat. So he said, let there be a girl. Text 16. Hotastad vyabhicharena kanyela namasa bhavat tam vilokya manupraha nati tushta mana gurum. Then Vaivasvat Manu, who had begun the sacrifice for the sake of getting a son, he wanted a son. When he saw that a daughter, a Kanya was born, because the priest had chanted the mantra for Kanya, then he named his daughter Ila. Manu Maharaj named his and Shraddha Mata's daughter Ila. It was supposed to be a son, but a daughter was born. So he named her Ila. Upon seeing the daughter Ila, Maharaj Manu was not very satisfied. Na ati tushta. He was not really satisfied. And he spoke to his guru, Vashishta Muni, as followed. Guru. He went to his guru, Praha, and he said the following words. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Because Manu had no issue, he had no children, he was pleased at the birth of the child, even though it was a daughter. And he gave her the name Ila. Later, however, he was not very satisfied to see the daughter instead of a son. Because he had no issue, he was certainly very glad at the birth of Ila, but his pleasure was temporary. So see, we should not think that Vaivasvat Manu was favoring a male child and did not want a female child. Prabhupada clearly says here, he was pleased with the birth of the child, even though it was a daughter. And again, Prabhupada says, he was certainly very glad at the birth of Ila. But his pleasure was temporary because he wanted a son. And why he wanted a son? Out of duty and responsibility. Because first he wanted to produce a child who will rule after him. That was his primary duty. As a king, he had to produce another son who could be the next king. So that's why he was anxious to have a son. He had nothing against a daughter. We should not misunderstand. Text 17. Bhagavan kim idam jatam karmavo brahmavadinam viparyayam aho kashtam maivam syad brahma vikriya. My Lord, all of you are expert in chanting the Vedic mantras. So Vaivasvat Manu is telling his guru, Shri Vashishta Muni, you are expert in chanting mantra. How then has the result been opposite? Viparyayam aho kashtam. How this opposite result has come? It's a matter of great kashta, great lamentation. There should not have been such an opposite result. We did the yajna, putra kameshti yajna, to get a putra, but I was given a putri. How this happened? He was very concerned because it will set a bad example in society. People will lose faith in the Vedic mantras, isn't it? That's why he's saying like this. Purport. In the age of Kali, the performance of yajna is strictly forbidden because no one can properly chant the mantras. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada says we should chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada is taking this opportunity, connecting this to Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He's saying that, see, mantra a little bit here and there, you chant it differently, the result is completely opposite. We see also in the case of Chitraketu Maharaj, isn't it? Instead of the killer of Indra, who was born? Someone who will be killed by Indra was born, with Rasur Maharaj. So Prabhupada quotes the first verse of Sri Chaitanya Shikshashtaka. Very beautiful. Cheto darpanam arjanam. This verse is quoted by Srila Prabhupada here to tell us what is the benefit of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. There are 7 benefits mentioned in this verse, so please pay attention. Cheto darpanam arjanam. First of all, our heart becomes purified. The reason we are in this material world is because we have impurities in the heart. But our heart becomes purified. Sri Narottam Thakur has said, Vishaya chadiya kabe shuddha habe mana kabe amaheribo Shri Vrindavana. We can enter into the secrets of Vrindavan. We can actually see Vrindavan when our heart becomes purified. And the heart becomes purified by Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So my dear friends, every phrase here, there are 7 benefits of Harinam mentioned. Each phrase connects with Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So, Cheto Darpanam Marjanam, Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. And it is even rhyming. Marjanam, Kirtanam. See? Cheto Darpanam Marjanam, heart becomes purified. How? By Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Acha, okay. What other benefit is there? Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. This forest fire, Samsara Dava Nala, will get extinguished by Harinam Sankirtan. This forest fire of material existence will be vanquished by Harinam. Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Acha. Then Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. That the highest benefit, not prayer, but Shreya, the real eternal benefit for the soul is obtained by Harinam. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam will get the soothing moonbeams, Chandrika, of the highest benefit, highest benediction of Krishna Prem. How? Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. What else? Vidyavadhu Jivanam. The whole world is mad after education. They want to go to IIT, IIM, Ivy League, this, that, Harvard, Cambridge, Oxford to get Jada Vidya. All these universities they are offering is Jada Vidya. It is just knowledge of this mundane world which is going to be destroyed, lost at the time of death. It has no benefit whatsoever. This life I am a medical doctor, board certified. Next life I take a birth somewhere. I cannot say, hey, in the last life I went to Emory University. Can I practice medicine? No. Go to kindergarten again. Punar Mushuka Bhava. Again become a mouse. Again you start. That is Jada Vidya. That is this material world. Everything is lost. But is that true for bhajan also? No. Neha vikramanashosti pratyavayana vidyate. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Bhakti, Krishna consciousness, spirituality, whatever we invest, it is never lost. Therefore, it is the real Vidya. Knowledge of Krishna is real Vidya. And it is called Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. Vidya is a Vadhu. Vidya is a bride. And who is the groom? Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. It is Krishna. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. Spiritual happiness will increase. Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Pratibadam Purna Amrit Aswadanam. We have Krishna Nam. We have Amrit Nam. We have Nam Anand. So there is Amrit in the name. That Purna Amrit Aswadanam. Aswadanam means to taste. We will be able to taste the Amrit in the Nam. Harinam Amrit. We will be able to taste by Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. And Sarvatma Snapanam. And it is for everybody. Sarvatma. It is not just for Indians. It is not just for Brahmins. It is not just for Hindus. It is not just for those who are initiated. No. Shri Krishna Sankirtanam is for everyone. Sarvatma Snapanam. Snapanam is to take bath. Everybody can come and stand in the waterfall of the holy name. It's for everyone. And Param Vijayate. It is always victorious. Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So Prabhupada is telling us the glory of Harinam. Yuyam Brahma Vido Yukta Tapasa Dagdakil Bishaha Kuta Sankalpa Vaishamyam Anritam Vibhudesh Iva. So Vasishtha Muni is being addressed by Vaivasvat Manu. Manu Maharaj is saying, hey Gurudev, Vasishtha Muni, you are self-controlled, you are well balanced in mind, you are aware of the absolute truth, and because of your austerities and penances, you are completely cleansed of all material contamination. You are completely pure. Your Dagdha Kilbisha, all your material contamination has been burned. Dagdha means to burn, and Kilbish means all the contamination. You're free of contamination. Your words, like those of the demigods, are never baffled. The demigod never speak false. And how is it possible that your determination has failed? You told me you will produce a son. How it is now that a daughter has been born? Maharaj Vaivasvat Manu was very bewildered. We have learned purport. We have learned from many Vedic literatures that a benediction or curse given by demigods never proves false. Never proves false. So our Narad Muni is telling Nalakuer Manigriv, you become trees in Vrindavan. They became trees. It came true. And when they begged forgiveness, he said, okay, don't worry. Krishna will deliver you. And Krishna delivered. So the words of the demigods, they never prove false. Then Vaivasvat Manu is wondering, how is it that Gurudev, Vashishta Muni, how is it that your words have proved false? By performing austerities and penances, by controlling senses and mind, and by achieving full knowledge of absolute truth, one is fully cleansed of material contamination. So if we want to be free from material contamination, Srila Prabhupada in this purport is giving us a formula. What is it? We have to perform austerities. We have to perform penances. Tapodivyam, putra kayana sattvam shuddhet. By controlling the senses, shama, dama, we have to control the senses. We have to control the mind. Abhyasena tu kaunteya, vairagyana cha griyate. And by achieving full knowledge of the absolute truth, we have to study Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. That will purify us. Then one's words and blessings, like those of demigods, are never a failure. Srila Prabhupada points a stick standing at Bharati Vidya Bhavan, points a cane towards K.M. Munshi Marg and said, we should have a temple here. Isn't it? Shyam Sundar Prabhu very famously told this story. And there was a temple. Prabhupada Lilamrit also, let there be a temple is a whole chapter. Let there be a temple. Prabhupada says, let there be a temple here and a temple manifest. Let there be a temple here, temple manifest. Sends 3 couples, completely inexperienced couples, to Europe, where nobody was able to preach before. He goes and suddenly the Beatles are dancing, chanting Hare Krishna, and there is temple, there is Rath Yatra in London. Where is this potency coming from? It is coming from Srila Prabhupada's purity. Purity is the force. And purity means freedom from material contamination. Dagda Sarva Kilbisha. And that happens with all these things. By chanting Harinam, Chetudarpana Marjana, by performing austerities, tapasya. Prabhupada stayed in Vrindavan, such an austere life, getting sunstroke in Chandni Chowk of Delhi, trying to hand distribute few back-to-godhead magazines, begging for paper, being refused paper because the country wanted paper to publish newspapers during World War II. Back-to-godhead publication stopped. So many difficulties Prabhupada went through. But all this tapasya, it purifies. We have learned this from Srila Prabhupada's Leela. Text 19. Nishamya tadvachas tasya bhagavan prapitamaha hotur vyatikramam jnatva babhashe ravinandanam. Who is Ravinandan? Vaivasvat Manu, the son of Vivashvan, who is Ravi, Suryadev. So Ravinandan is another name for Shraddhadev Manu or Vaivasvat Manu. The most powerful great-grandfather Vasishtha, after hearing these words of his disciple Manu Maharaj, understood the discrepancy on the part of the priest. Thus he spoke as follows to the son of sun god, to Ravinandan. So Vasishtha Muni closed his eyes and he immediately understood what the problem was. The problem was that Shraddha Mata had gone and requested one of the Purohits that you please speak the mantra to get a daughter, not a son. That was a problem. But Vasishtha does not criticize or blame the wife of Manu Maharaj to Manu Maharaj. Doesn't want to create fights between the couple. He says, okay, I understood what the problem was. I will fix it. Don't worry. I will fix it. Etat sankalpa vaishamyam hotuste vyabhicharatah tathapi sadhaishyete suprajastvam swatejasa. This discrepancy in the objective is due to your priest's deviation from the original purpose. So Vasishtha Muni tells that it is a mistake of the Pujari, the Purohit, who chanted the different mantra. Instead of Putra, he chanted a mantra for Putri. However, by my own prowess, I shall give you a good son. You don't worry. I will give you a good son. Don't worry. Evam vyavasito rajan bhagavan samahayashah astaushid adi purusham ilaya pumstva kamyaya. Pumstva means male. Shri Shukdev Goswami said, O King Parikshit, after the most famous and powerful Vasishtha Muni made this decision, he offered prayers to the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Bhagavan sa Mahayasha, Adi Purusham, Govindam Adi Purusham. He prayed to Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Original Person. For what? What was the prayer? Ilaya, Ila was a daughter, remember? Ilaya Pumstva Kamyaya. Please make Ila into a Pumswa, a male. So Vashishta Muni, so again, when Vaivasvat Manu was in trouble, he got a daughter instead of a son. What did he do? He went to his Gurudev. And Gurudev said, don't worry, I will take care of it. And Guru Maharaj, Sri Vashishta Muni, he prayed to Lord Vishnu that please transform Ila into Pumswa, into a male. What happens? Tasmai Kamavaram Tushto Bhagavan Haririshwaraha Dadav Ila Bhavattena Sudyumna Purusharshabha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan Haririshwara, the Supreme Controller, being pleased with Vashishta Muni. He was Varam Tushto. He was being pleased and gave him the benediction he wanted. Kamavaram. He gave him what he wanted. And what was it? Thus, Ila was transformed into a very fine, handsome, young male named Sudumna. Dadav Ila Bhavattena Sudyumna Purushar Shabha. Ila became Sudyumna and Purushar Shabha was a very nice, fine male. So this is the story that Ila became a male. But what is the chapter's name? Sudyumna becomes a woman. Born a woman, Ila became a male, Sudyumna, by the prayers of Vashishta and mercy of Supreme Lord Vishnu. Now the real story starts. 23-24. Sa ekada maharaja vicharan mrigayam vane vrita kati payatmatyer ashvam aruyya saindhavam pragriha ruchiram chapam sharamscha paramadbhutan damshito numrigam viro jagam dishamuttaram. O King Parikshit, that hero Sudumna was Purusharshabha, very great personality, Sudyumna, male, accompanied by a few ministers and associates, some soldiers, some bodyguards, riding on a horse brought from Sindhu Pradesh, once went to the forest to hunt. Vicharan mrigayam vane. To kill mriga, to kill animals, to hunt, he went to the forest. One. He wore armor, he was decorated with bow and arrow. Chapam, sharamscha, he had chapa band, bow, arrow, and he looked very beautiful. Ruchiram, he looked very beautiful. He went. And while following the animals in the forest and killing them, he reached the northern part of the forest. Jagama Disham Uttaram. He went in the northern part. Now see, my dear friends, there are many, many instances in Mahabharata, in Ramayana and in Srimad Bhagavatam where things have gone wrong because of hunting. So I would like you all to note down few instances. Later on I will ask. Few instances where things went really bad because of hunting. There are many examples. So here also, our Sudyumna, who is a great hero, he goes hunting. And then he reaches a particular forest. Now pay attention. Sukumar vanam meror adhastad praviveshaha yatraste bhagavan sharvo ramamana sahomaya. There in the north, at the bottom of Mount Meru, is a forest known as Sukumar. Sukumarvan. The name of the forest is Sukumar, where Lord Shiva always enjoys with Shri Parvati Devi. Ramamana Sahomaya. Sahonmaya. Along with Uma, our Lord Shiva, he enjoys. Sharva is Lord Shiva. He enjoys in this forest of Sukumar. And what happened? Sudyumna entered that forest. Hare Krishna. Tasmin pravishta eva sau Sudyumna paraviraha apashyat striyam atmanam ashvam cha vadavam nripa. O King Parikshit, as soon as Sudyumna, who was very expert in subduing the enemy, paraviraha, he entered that forest. Pravishta, he entered that forest. He saw himself transformed into a female. And his horse also became a mare. His horse became a female and he also became a female. Sudyumna. Vichara. He was born a female, Ila. And with great difficulty, he was transformed into a very nice, handsome male, Sudyumna. And he just goes hunting. He enters this forest and without any warning, suddenly, he gets transformed into a female. And not only just him, even his horse became a mare. 27. Tatha tad anugah sarve atmalinga viparyayam dashtva vimanaso bhuvam vikshamana parasparam. Not only that, when his followers also saw their identities transformed and their sex reversed, they were all very morose and just looked at one another. What happened? Even the soldiers, ministers and their horses, they all became female. Everyone became female. Text 28. Shri Rajo Vacha Katham Evam Guno Desha Kenava Bhagavan Kritaha Prashnam Enam Samachakshva Param Kautu Halam Hinaha. Maharaj Parikshit said, "Oh, most powerful Brahman, why was this place so empowered?" So Parikshit Maharaj interrupts Shukdev Goswami. He says, What? Wait a minute. Sudyumna became a woman. His horse became a mare. And the ministers and soldiers and bodyguards, they all became women. And their horses also became female horses. What's going on? How did this place, just by entering the Sukumar forest, this happened? How does the Sukumar forest get this power to transform male into females? How did it happen? Why this place is so powerful? Kindly answer this question. I'm very eager to hear this. Param Kautuhalam Hinaha. I'm very kutuhal. I have great eagerness, curiosity to know this. What happened? How did this forest get this power from? Now, another point here. I would like you all to note down. In the end, we will discuss few instances in Srimad Bhagavatam where Maharaj Parikshit like this interrupts Shukdev Goswami and asks the question. Wait a minute. How did this happen? What happened? Tell me more. I want to hear more about this. Tell me in detail. So if you can remember one or two instances, it happens many times in Srimad Bhagavatam where Maharaj Parikshit very wisely interrupts Shukdev Goswami to ask question, and great nectar comes out by that question. So if you can write down one or 2 points. 29. Shri Shuka Uvacha Ekada Girisham Dashtam Rishayastatra Suvrataha Disho Viti Mirabhasaha Kurvantaha Samupagamam. Shri Shukdev Goswami answered to Maharaj Parikshit, great saintly persons who strictly observe the spiritual rules and regulations. Suvrataha. They are highly elevated in spiritual power. They are brahmacharis, and whose own effulgence dissipated the darkness of all directions. Disho Viti Mirabhasa. They can illuminate every direction with their own effulgence. Once came to see Lord Shiva in that forest. They came to see Lord Shiva once. All these great sadhus. Girisham Drashtum. They wanted to see Girish, Lord Shiva. Tan Vilokyambika Devi Vivasa Vridita Bhrisham Bhartur Ankat Samuthaya Nivim Ashvatha Paryadhat. When goddess Ambika, means Mother Durga Devi, Mother Parvati ji, saw the great saintly persons, she became very uncomfortable because they had just encroached into their privacy. So she immediately got up from the lap of Bhagwan Shankar because Mother Parvati was disturbed. Suddenly, how these people have entered this forest. Rishayo Pitayor Viksha Prasangam Ramamanayoh Nivritta Prayayustasman Nara Narayana Shramam. Seeing Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati, all these great saintly persons, they immediately stopped, they turned around and they departed, and they went to the ashram of Sri Naranarayan Rishi. So they realized that they were in the wrong place. They should not have entered like this without permission, that forest. So they became very sad that we did something wrong. And they immediately turned around and they went to take darshan of Bhagwan Naranarayan Rishi. Now, this is a very important Siddhanta, my dear friends. Sometimes, unexpectedly, we may see something that is not good for our spiritual life. It is not good for our consciousness. Sometimes something just happens. Sometimes we are at Radhakund and we see some mother bathing there. So we didn't plan it, we didn't want it, but sometimes such drishya, such scene comes before our eyes. So what we should do, Srimad Bhagavatam is teaching us, these rishis are teaching us. Rishayopi tayor viksha. Seeing what they saw, they immediately they went away. And Naranarayan Ashramam. Where they went to the ashram of Naranarayan Rishi to take darshan of Naranarayan Rishi. Because sometimes when we see with our eyes something that we are not supposed to see, then our eyes become contaminated. We hear something we are not supposed to hear, our ears become contaminated. We eat something that is not Krishna Prasad, our rasendriya, our tongue becomes contaminated. We smell some perfume that has not been offered to Krishna, our ghanendriya, our sense of smell, nose becomes contaminated. We touch something or somebody that we are not supposed to touch, then our sense of touch, sparshendriya, our skin becomes contaminated. In this way, our senses become contaminated in this world, my dear friends. And the only way to purify the senses is to employ the senses in the service of the master of the senses. Rishikena Rishikeja Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. That purifies. Sarvapadhi vinirmukta tat paratvena nirmalam. We become nirmal. Our senses become nirmal, free from mal, free from contamination by rishikena rishikesha sevanam. By serving Krishna with our senses. So if by chance, sometimes we see something that we are not supposed to see. The other day, a devotee was telling me that he was trying to look up some video of a great devotee on YouTube, and somehow some video showed up that he thought was authentic, and he played that video, and there was straight out blasphemy of this great Vaishnava. And this devotee, yesterday only he came to me and he was saying, Prabhuji, what should I do? I'm feeling so contaminated. For a few minutes I heard it was just blasphemy of this very great Bhagavat, Mahabhagavat. And I'm feeling contaminated. So when something like this happens, we hear something we are not supposed to hear, we see something we are not supposed to see, we eat something we are not supposed to eat. I know one devotee, he came to America first time and he was given a pizza. And he saw some red things on the pizza. He said, what are this? Oh, they're tomatoes. They're tomatoes. So he ate that pizza and it was pepperoni. Pepperoni is beef. And this devotee is born in a Pakka South Indian Brahmin family, born to devotee parents, never eaten even onion garlic in his life, comes to America on the first day and he eats pepperoni, beef. Dekho. So sometimes unknowingly we do something with our indriya, our senses, that we are not supposed to do. What should we do then? As a tapasya, as a prayaschitta, Bhagavatam has got answers for everything. Srimad Bhagavatam is telling us we should, with our eyes we saw something bad. Now with those same eyes, we should see something that will purify our eyes. Taking darshan, so they immediately went to the ashram of Naranarayan Rishi. Naranarayan Rishi are Bal Brahmachari. They have never had any attraction for the opposite sex. They are completely pure. Actually, they are incarnations of Bhagwan. So, but to go to hear from them, to take their darshan will completely purify the eyes. Darshane pavitra karo, ei tomar gun. Vaishnav Thakur, Sri Narottam Thakur says. Ganga rasparasha hoile paschate pavana, darshane pavitra karo, ei tomar guna. Ganga ji will purify after we touch the water of Ganga, do achaman, take bath in Ganga. But keval darshan matra, just by taking darshan of a pure devotee, we become purified. Srila Thakur Mahashaya Narottam Thakur is saying. So these rishis, they felt contaminated. So they, as a prayaschitta, to purify themselves also, they went to take darshan of Naranarayan Rishi. One boy was telling me, I was talking to him, he said, one day suddenly I was agitated by lust. And I thought I'm going to give in to the urge of lust. And he said, I don't know what happened. I just went to YouTube and I saw a video of Srila Gaur Govind Maharaj. And Srila Gaur Govind Maharaj in Bhuvaneshwar was chanting, Jaya Radha Madhava. You know, in the full avesh, she was doing that Jaya Radha Madhava. He said, for 10 minutes I took darshan of Srila Gaur Govind Maharaj, heard Jaya Radha Madhava from him, and it was as if I had just been purified. All those negative thoughts just disappeared from my mind. So like, this is the way to purify. To take shelter of Krishna Nam, to take shelter of Krishna's pure devotees. That is the way to purify our existence when we become contaminated. Tad idam bhagavan aha priyaya priyakamyaya sthanam yah pravished etad savai yoshid bhavet iti. Then when this thing happened, Lord Shiva also felt very sorry that, you know, his wife, Mother Parvati Devi, had to go through this experience. Actually, those sadhus did not see. The Bhagavatam clearly describes Mother Parvati saw them first and everything was fine, but still it was disturbance in their Leela. Their Leela got disturbed. So Shivji, being the perfect husband and the supreme lord of this material universe, he, just to please his wife, he said, any male entering this place shall immediately become a female. Yoshid Bhavet. Yoshid means woman. Anybody who comes in this forest will become a woman immediately. Shankar Bhagavan spoke like this, so that nobody will ever disturb them again. Anybody comes will become a woman. So our acharyas say that if a Prakrit one, if a material forest like Sukumar one at the foothills of Mount Sumeru can have such a power that any person who has Purush Abhiman, has male ego, comes there, immediately gets transformed into a female. If a mundane forest can have such power, why our Vrindavan forest cannot have the power? If someone has Gopi Bhav, someone wants to become a maid servant of Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, our acharyas, and serve Radha Krishna Seva Pao, Ei Abhilashi, Namo Namaha Tulasi Krishna Prayasi. Someone is praying that I want Radha Krishna Seva. I want a Karo Nija Dasi. I want to be made a Dasi and take shelter of Vrindavan, take shelter of Vrinda Devi. Why that person will not get Manjari Swarup or Gopi Swarup? Our acharyas say like this. That if a Prakrit forest, if a material forest, Sukumar 1 can have this power, that a male entering becomes a female, why our Vrindavan forest, the forest of Vrinda Devi, not have this power to give us Dasi Swarup? Because every day we are praying that Mora Hey Abhilasha. What is our Abhilasha? That Koro Nija Dasi. I want to become the Dasi. Seva Adhikar Diyo Koro Nija Dasi. Give me the Seva Adhikar as a Dasi. Then why we will not get? So Shri Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. So Tatra Urdhvam Vanam Tadvai Purusha Varjayantihi Sachanuchara Samyukta Vichachara Vanadvanam. Since that time, no male had entered that forest. But now King Sudyumna, having been transformed into a female, began to walk with his associates from one forest to the other. Sudyumna Maharaj had no idea that that forest is cursed like that. So he, bichara, comes, he's a king, he is very handsome, and he suddenly becomes a female, becomes a woman. And now he doesn't know what to do. How can I go back? Now, Sudyumna has become a woman. He has become, again, Ila. Srila Prabhupada gives a brilliant purport here. Brilliant purport. Please listen carefully. Bhagavad Gita 2.22 is quoted by Srila Prabhupada. Vasam sijirnani yatha vihaya navani grinati naro parani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnananyani samyati navani dehi. As a person puts on new garments, vasam sijirnani yatha vihaya navani grinati. You take new garments, giving up the old ones. Similarly, the soul accepts new material bodies. Tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. The dehi, the soul who is embodied, takes up a new body when this body dies. If we can understand this purport of Srila Prabhupada, my dear friends, we will never fall victim to lust. Who wants to be free from lust? Hridrog. This prasanga of Srimad Bhagavatam, this shlok of Srimad Bhagavatam, this purport of Srila Prabhupada will permanently rid us from lust if we understand and remember this purport. What is Srila Prabhupada saying? The body is just like a dress. And this is proved with this story. Sudyumna and his associates were all male, which means that their souls were covered by male dress. But now they became female, which means that their dress was changed. The soul, however, remains the same. Hari Bol. Let us do some Chintan Manan on this purport of Srila Prabhupada, and it will rid us from lust. 100%. The soul is like the hanger. And this body is like the clothes that we hang on the hanger. Now you take a hanger, you can hang a male suit, or you can hang a sari for a female on the hanger, correct? So we are all like hangers. All of you, we are all hangers. Somebody is wearing male coat, male dress, shirt, tie, pant, and some is wearing gopi dress, some is wearing sari, female dress. But the hanger is same. We are all hangers. We are neither the male jacket nor are we the female sari. Previously, this hanger that is holding a male jacket was holding a female sari. In the previous life, we might have been we have been women, we have been male, we have taken so many births. Krishna tells Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, many births you have taken, many births, many times I have appeared. So we have been man, we have been woman, we have been tiger, we have been tigress, we have been grass. The hanger is the same. The dress is changing. Sometimes it is a bed sheet. Sometimes it is a dhoti, kurta. Sometimes it is gopi dress. The dress keeps changing, but we are the same person. And now look at this. Our ahankar, our false ego is such a enemy. There's one lecture by Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj on YouTube. You can type it up. Uprooting the false ego. It's a brilliant class Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj gave after coming back from the Kartik Vrindavan Yatra of 2019. Maharaj came back to Radha Gopinath Mandir and gave that class. Uprooting the false ego. Maharaj explains how the biggest enemy is false ego. Greater than lust, greater than anger, greater than envy is false ego. In fact, Maharaj explains systematically on the 11th canto, basis of 11th canto, how false ego is the root cause of lust. Because I think I am a man, I get attracted to a woman. You see? It's the root cause is false ego. Because I think I am this person, when I get something and I become proud. Oh, I have got $1 million, I'm a millionaire. If my neighbor becomes a millionaire and I don't get, then I become envious. Why? Because of this false ego. Oh, I am only having $100,000. He has $1 million. So envy. If I get $1 million, because I'm thinking I'm a millionaire, oh, I want to become a billionaire. Greed comes. You see how lust, greed, envy, ego, everything is coming from this false identification. That I am this male body, I am this female body. A male cockroach gets attracted to female cockroach, Maharaj says. We don't get attracted to a female cockroach or a male cockroach. But a cockroach, a male bear will get attracted to female bear. Tiger will get attracted to tigress. We don't feel attraction for tigress, but tiger feels. Similarly, a tiger will not feel attracted to Miss Universe. You see how it is all based on identification with this cloth that is hanging on the hanger. We are all hanger. A grass is a hanger. Brahmaji is a hanger. Indra is a hanger. Sachin Tendulkar is a hanger. Anybody you take, it's a hanger. We are all hangers. Just temporarily for some time in the wardrobe of Krishna, different dresses hung on it. And our problem is we become so obsessed with the cloth that is hanging on us. We think, I am this. I am a man. I need to get. And then to get a woman, we throw acid on people. We fight. We lie. We cheat. We show off. We undergo plastic surgery, Botox injections. We dye our hair just to attract a cloth on another hanger. The cloth is not real. It's just made of transformation of the Pancha Mahabhut. But the hanger is eternal here. The hanger is the soul. This is false ego. Falsely identifying. And the only solution to this is to be situated in our true ego. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells us that we are not man, we are not woman, we are not any of these designations. Sarva upadhi vinirmukta. Give up all these upadhis. I am man, I am woman. Sarva upadhi vinirmukta paratvana nirmalam. Rishika Rishika Sevan Bhakti Uchate. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells us how to give up this false ego and be situated in the true ego. Beautiful verse, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, during Rath Yatra. Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya Dev tells us how to be situated in the true ego. Naham vipro na chanara patir na api vaishyo na shudro naham varani na chagriha patir no vanastho yatirva kintu prodyan nikhila paramananda purnamritabdher gopi bharatuhu padakamalayur dasa dasanudasaha. I am not Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. I am not Sannyasi, Vanaprastha, Grihastha, Brahmachari. No. I am none of these designations. Sarva Upadhi, Vinirmukta. I am none of these titles, none of these upadhis. Who am I? Gopi Bhartu Pada Kamalayor Dasa Dasanudasa. Gopi Bhartu means Gopinath. Bhartu means Nath, the master, the Lord. I am Gopinath. Gopi Bhartu Pada Kamalayor Das Dasanudas. This is true ego. And we have to be situated in true ego. Prabhupada, such a brilliant purport Prabhupada is giving here. Such a beautiful purport. The soul remains same. It is said that by modern medical treatment, a male can be transformed into female and a female into male. We are seeing this today. And Prabhupada wrote this 50 years ago. Imagine. Now we are seeing all this. LGBTQ. So many things. Transgender is there. And actually, we used to work during our residency at Emory. We worked in the transgender clinic. So all these things are there. Prabhupada is writing about them. But the fact is, we are neither G, we are neither heterosexual, nor lesbian, nor gay, nor transsexual. We are none of these things. Mahaprabhu has already negated all this. Naham vipro naranachapi nagveshana sudro. Who are we? Jivara Swarupa Krishna Nitya Das. All of us are simply Krishna Das. That's the only true identity we have. Prabhupada is saying the body has no connection with the soul. The body can be changed either in this life or the next. Therefore, one who has knowledge of the soul and how the soul transmigrates from one body to another does not pay attention to the body. What is that verse from Bhagavad Gita? Dehinosminatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara prapti dhiras tatrana muhyati. Prabhupada is saying that. One who has knowledge of the transmigration does not pay attention to the body, which is nothing but a covering dress. Pandita Samadarshina. Vidya Vinay Sampanne. Brahmane Gavi Hastini, Shuni Cheva Sabaka Cheva, Pandita Samadarshina. Such a person sees the soul. That's why Samadarshi. And the soul is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Mamayamsha Jivaloka Jivabhuta Sanatana. Therefore, he is Samadarshi, a learned person. Atattam Ashrama Bhyashe charantim pramadottaman stribhi parivritam viksha chakame bhagavan buddha. Now look at this miracle. Sudyumna has become Ila. Sudyumna has become a woman. Sudyumna had been transformed into the best of the beautiful women who excite other people. Upon seeing this beautiful woman loitering in the ashram, Buddha, the son of Somadev, moon god, immediately desired to marry. So Buddha, the son of moon god, saw Sudyumna, who had become Ila, a beautiful woman, and wanted to marry her. What happened as a result? Sapitam chakame subhru somaraja sutam patim satasyam janayam asa pururavasam atmajam. The beautiful woman also desired to accept Buddha, the son of the king of moon, as her husband. So just look at this miracle now. Sudumna is a handsome prince. He has become transformed into Ila, a woman. And the son of moon god is Buddha. He is also a handsome prince. He sees Ila, gets attracted to her, and Ila, who minutes ago was Sudyumna, gets attracted to Buddha. Can you see the power of the false ego? Even Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells the story of how Indra, by the curse, when the Puranic story, when he had become a pig, Indra had to become a pig. Narad Muni comes and says, okay, the duration of curse is over. Now let's go to Amaravati. Let's go to heaven. Huh? What are you saying? Naradji, I am not coming. I am happy as a pig. No. You are the king of the heaven. Come. Asha, in heaven, will I get a nice hot stool to eat? Fresh hot stool to eat? What are you saying? Chi. Are in that, in the Swarga Sharir, as a Devta Sharir, you don't even produce Malamutra. You don't even produce stool and urine. There is no toilet in heaven. You get a very beautiful body. If there is no stool in heaven, I don't want to go there. Indra. But what about Shachi Devi? She is waiting for you. You have such a nice praja there. You are the king of heaven. All the devtas are waiting for you. Oh, but if I go there, who will take care of my little piglets? I love them, my little piglings. My wife, I have a beautiful wife. He's in that pig body. He has got pig abhiman. He has got a complete identification with a pig body and pig family. This is what happens, my dear friends. The false ego is identification with the current body. It is so strong that minutes ago he's Sudyumna, male ego, hunting, killing animals. Minutes later, he's an attractive woman and he's getting attracted to Buddha. Just see how our consciousness gets covered. So this is the power of Maya. Thus, Buddha, what happened? He got a son named Pururava. Buddha and Ila. Ila was Sudyumna Maharaj. Ila and Buddha produced a child called Pururava. Now in Pururava's family lineage, Krishna and Arjun will come. Pandavas and Arjun, they will come. Evam stritvam anupraptaha Sudyumno manavo nirpaha sasmarasa kulacharyam vashishtham iti sushruma. I heard from reliable sources, Shukdev Goswami is saying, I have heard from reliable sources that King Sudyumna, the son of Manu, having thus achieved femininity, remembered his familial spiritual master Vasishtha Muni. Hare Krishna. This is what happens. When we are in Vipatti, when we are in trouble, we should always remember our Guru Maharaj. There was one lady, her husband got burnt in an accident, our god sister. He was not doing good, 60% burns, condition was deteriorating. She was doing everything, chanting different artis, different mantras, different prayers, asking devotees to pray. Nothing was working. Everything was going worse. And the worst thing was even her consciousness. She was losing faith. So one Mataji visited her and saw her. She was not doing well. So the Mataji asked her that, Mataji, are you praying to Srila Guru Maharaj? You are doing all this arti, that arti, this mantra, Mrutyunjay mantra, and this alana falana. Have you prayed to your Guru Maharaj? Oh, he said, Mataji, since the accident, I have been so busy. I have just been praying to Krishna, but I totally forgot about Guru Maharaj. I never once prayed about to Guru Maharaj. So he immediately started praying to Guru Maharaj. Then he started chanting Pranam mantra of our Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj was praying to Guru Maharaj. And by mercy of Guru and Krishna, miraculously, everything changed. The husband was getting infections from the burns and the doctors were saying he's in sepsis now. Now nothing can stop. He's going to die. And somehow the antibiotics started working. He recovered, improved. And this Mataji was saying that I realized the importance that we cannot approach Krishna without Guru. So see, when Sudyumna was in trouble, now he realized, what has happened to me? I am the king of the whole world. My father has given the whole kingdom to me. I am Sudyumna, the son of Vaivasvat Manu. What has happened to me? I have become a woman. I'm roaming here in the forest, producing a son, Pururava. I have forgotten my duties. So he remembered his Guru Dev Vasishta Muni. What is the effect of remembering Guru? Mokshamulam Guru Kripa. Satasyatam dasham drishtva kripaya bhrishapiditaha Sudyumnasya pumstvam upadhavata Shankaram. Upon seeing Sudyumna's deplorable condition, Vasishta Muni was very much aggrieved. Think about Vasishta Muni. This boy was born Ila. He was born a girl. By praying, I made him. First, by praying, I got a child, but it became female child instead of male child, Ila. Then I prayed to Lord Vishnu, made him into Sudyumna. Now Sudyumna again, by the curse of Shivji, has become Ila, a woman. What is going on? So even Vasishta Muni was very aggrieved. Desiring for Sudyumna to regain his maleness, his manhood, Vasishta Muni began to worship Lord Shankar, Lord Shiva. Upadhavata Shankaram. Shankar Bhagavan, he started doing Upasana. Why? Because Sudyumna had become a woman by the curse of Shivji. So he prayed to Shivji. 38, 39. We're almost done. Tushtas tasmai sa bhagavan rishaye priyamavahan swamcha vacham ritam kurvan idam aha vishampate masam pumman sabhavita masam stri tavagotraja ittham vyavasthaya kamam Sudyumno vatu medinim. King Parikshit, Shudeva Goswami is saying, "Oh King Parikshit, Lord Shiva was pleased with Vasishta Muni's prayers. So Vasishta Muni was able to please Ashutosh, Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva became pleased. Therefore, to satisfy Vasishta Muni and also to keep his own word to Mother Parvati, Lord Shivji said to the saintly person, to Vasishta Muni, your disciple Sudyumna may remain a male for 1 month and female for the next month. So, Masam Puman Sabhavita. He will be main for 1. And Masam Stri Tava Gotraja. Your Gotraja, your disciple, will become a woman for 1 week and male for 1 week. In this way, he may rule the world as he like. He can rule the world the way he likes. So here Prabhupada explains the meaning of Gotraja. This is very important. What is our Gotra? When we do any puja, yajna, they ask, the Purohit will ask us, what is the Gotra? So we should not say Bharadvaj Gotra, Angira Gotra, Vashishta. No. We are Dikshit. We have taken initiation. And now our family is the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Parampara. And therefore our Gotra changes. Every initiated devotee, the Gotra becomes Achyut Gotra. So whenever we are asked what is our Gotra, we should very confidently say Achyut Gotra. We belong to the family of Krishna. How is that? Because who is our father? Our Guru Maharaj, our Diksha Guru. Who is Diksha Guru's father? Srila Abhay Charana Arvind Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada. His father, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Sari Thakur. Like that in the Parampara we go up. Ultimately the Parampara goes to Lord Brahma and then finally Lord Krishna. So we are in the family, in the dynasty of Krishna. This is our Vamshavali that Saraswati Thakur has given in that bhajan. Krishna Haite Chaturmukha, that bhajan. So our Gotra is Achyut Gotra because we are initiated. Acharyanugrahat kamam labdva pumstvam vyavasthaya palayam asa jagatim nabhya nandan smatam prajaha. Thus being favored by the spiritual master, according to the words of Lord Shiva, Sudyumna regained his desired maleness. And every alternate month, and in this way, he ruled the kingdom. 1 month he used to be Sudyumna, the king. Another month he used to be Ila, the queen of Maharaj Buddha. So he did rule everything. Palayam asa jagatim. He ruled the whole world. 1 month on, 1 month off. As a hospitalist, I'm 1 week on, 1 week off. Here we see the origin of that is Srimad Bhagavatam. 1 month on, 1 month off. 1 month king, 1 month wife. 1 month king, 1 month wife. And what was the result? The citizens were not satisfied with this. This is a very, very important lesson for all of us from this chapter. Sudyumna, Bichara, Sudyumna, poor fellow. He is 1 month male, 1 month female. And really, it's not his fault. It's not his fault that his mother said, I want a daughter, and he became Ila. Then he became a man again, Sudyumna. And then he didn't know this forest is cursed. Accidentally, he went there and again became a woman. And now, after his Gurudev Vashishta Muni prayed to Lord Shiva said, okay, 1 month male, 1 month female. Who wants to live like that? And your consciousness, your ego also changes. There's a switch. It's so painful. So he's living like this, but still he's duty bound. Please listen carefully. We are come to the end. This is the second last verse. Maharaj Sudyumna is duty bound, and he is the ruler of the whole universe because he is the son of Vayasvat Manu. He is the next king of the whole universe. And he is ruling to the best of his ability as Maharaj Sudumna. But still his citizens don't like him. His citizens don't appreciate him. His citizens are not pleased with him. His citizens are not satisfied with him. This is the lesson. That even if we are not getting positive vibes, even if we are not being appreciated, the greatness of a person is to tolerate it and continue duty bound. Like Krishna says, Nishkam Karma Yoga. Without expecting anything, just do your duty for the sake of doing the duty for Samsiddhir Haritoshanam, for pleasing Krishna. We just do it. Sudyumna Maharaj was doing his service as a king just to please Lord Vishnu, even though his citizens did not like. This is very important. What happens to us is we do a service. If we are not appreciated, we are not glorified, we are not given credit for it, we stop the service. But Sudyumna continued the service despite citizens not being satisfied with him. The citizen could not understand that the king was transformed into a female every alternate month and therefore could not discharge his royal duty. Consequently, they were not very satisfied. But still Sudyumna continued his service very nicely. Last verse. Oh, two more verses. Tasyotkalo gayo rajan vimalascha traya sutaha dakshinapath rajano babhuvur dharma vatsalaha. O King Sudyumna, O King Parikshit, King Sudyumna had 3 pious sons. So see how nicely he did his duty. As King Sudyumna, with his wife, he produced 3 sons, very pious sons, named Utkal, Gaya, and Vimala. And they became kings of South India, of Dakshinapath. They became kings. So he produced sons as King Sudyumna by the name Utkal, Gaya, and Vimala. And as Ila, he produced a son called Pururava. So please remember this, because it has a very important connection. Last verse, verse 42. Tataha parinate kale pratisthana pati prabhu Pururavasya utsrijya gamputraya gatovanam. Thereafter, when the time was right, King Sudyumna, the king of the world, was sufficiently old, and he delivered the entire kingdom to his son Pururava. So this is the son he had as a woman, as Ila, from Buddha. That Pururava was most qualified. So he gave the entire kingdom to Pururava. Some South Indian territories he gave to the other 3 sons. Utkal, Vimal, and Gaya. But the entire world, entire kingdom, he gave to his other son that he had as a woman. That is Pururava. Therefore, Pururava is also called Aila, because he is the son of the mother Ila. He's called Aila. And therefore, in the 11th canto, his Geet is called Aila Geet. Everybody getting the connection? So, he gave Pururava the entire kingdom. And what did he do? Giving the kingdom to Pururava, his son, our Maharaj Sudyumna entered a forest. Now, Srila Prabhupada speaks about Varnashram here, specifically about Vanaprastha. Purport. According to Vedic system, one within the institution of Varna and Ashram must leave his family after he reaches the 50 years of age. Pancha Shordhvam Vanam Vrajet. Thus, Sudyumna followed the prescribed regulations of Varnashram by leaving the kingdom and going to the forest to complete his spiritual life. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 9th canto, 1st chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled King Sudyumna Becomes a Woman. So the point I'm trying to make here, my dear friends, is Sudyumna, number 1, he performed his duties to the best of his ability, even though he was not being appreciated. People were making fun of him because he was 1 month man, 1 month woman. And he became a laughing stock for everyone. But still he performed his duties, even though those very subjects for whom he was doing all this were criticizing him. This is a very great quality. Srila Prabhupada writes in the Krishna book, one's greatness has to be estimated by our ability to tolerate provoking situations. And Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj quotes this many times in his classes. That is one lesson. Second lesson is he created a proper succession. That is very important. In both his roles, as Ila, the woman, and as Sudyumna, the king, he produced proper succession. And creating a proper succession is paramount. It's very important. Otherwise, the spiritual institution, after the Acharya leaves, collapses. And there are many examples of how some great leaders, they have created a proper succession. Srila Prabhupada, for example, created such a wonderful succession that in Prabhupada's absence, ISKCON is going strength to strength. It is increasing. The number of temples, number of devotees, everything is flourishing and increasing. So proper succession was created. And then the most important lesson is Sudyumna, having performed his duty as a grahastha till the age of 50, when he attained the age of Vanaprastha, he created proper succession, handed over the responsibility and kingdom to his son Pururava, who was most qualified, and he himself went to the forest. Imagine, from being the king of the world to enter the forest with no accommodation, no cottage, no bathroom, no toilet, no servants, no money, no clothes, nothing, no wardrobe, no weapons, just going to the forest with one purpose only: to get Krishna, to do bhajan and to get Krishna. So we should not think that Sudyumna was just an ordinary man. Why are we reading his story? He's sometimes man, sometimes woman. No. Sudyumna is a great pure devotee, Mahabhagavat. He did what we cannot do. He left everything, attachment to all his family, everything, his children, everything. And he went to the forest and he got Krishna. Therefore, Sudyumna is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. One entire chapter out of 335 chapters of Bhagavatam is dedicated to Maharaj Sudyumna, because he was a great king and he attained Krishna by giving up everything and doing bhajan at the end of his life. And the last point I want to make is King Sudyumna is very important because he has a connection with both the Vamshas, the Surya Vamsh and the Chandra Vamsh. In Surya Vamsh, Lord Ramchandra appeared. So from Sudyumna's line, Ikshvaku Maharaj will come in the line of Vaivasvat Manu. Ikshvaku Maharaj will come, and further down, Lord Ram will come. And as from Sudyumna, in his form as Ila, he gave birth to Pururava, and in Pururava's dynasty, later on, the Pandavas and the Yadavas, they will come. So Krishna and the Pandavas, they will come on the side of Pururava. So in this way, Sudyumna, in his tree, he has both the avatars, Krishna and Ram, both. So with this, I will stop. Sorry, it went very long, but somehow I felt inspired to finish this whole chapter. I was planning to do it in 1 hour, but I beg your pardon, it was too long. So Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. I hope some of you have taken down those notes, those few points that we discussed. So I hand it back to Krishnanam Prabhu. Hare Krishna.